Well, hello from the Kiwi Sports Studio. Today we are reviewing Italy's Rugby World Cup campaign, and wasn't quite the campaign they were looking for. They were hoping to qualify over at New Zealand or France side, but it was a bit high of a goal, and they just weren't able to compete against those teams. We saw that between those two games against New Zealand and France. Against France, they were beaten by 60-7, and against New Zealand, they were beaten 96-17. But in the other two games, they really did compete and demolished the other two. Well, not Uruguay, but Namibia. They beat Uruguay 38-17, although Uruguay did start really well against them. And then 52-8 win over Namibia, who were just quite not on point against them. But we did see a usually good Italian side. I don't think we saw them play as we thought we would see them against France or New Zealand. We thought they'd compete more, but they didn't really give enough in those matches. Pros to come from that was probably the outside backs. As Kipiozo was a very good player, and same with Monty Ioane, who was brilliant. Those two really stood out for me out of those outside backs, and that's kind of where they did their best during the matches. They had some good finishes of the games, but really the starts were just not on point and didn't compete enough during those big matches. Although it was another hard pull facing New Zealand in their 7th World Cup. So they've been in the same pool with New Zealand 7 times, which is pretty crazy out of the 10 World Cups they've been to. So they've been a bit unlucky, but of course they need to do better. I think by next World Cup they'll be a lot better. They had just bad starts. Against Uruguay we saw it. They really struggled, and then they came back and pretty much demolished them after that, 38-17. But Uruguay really stood out with that start, and I think Italy really need to work on those starts, as they just lacked a fast, quick scoring start. Then their discipline wasn't quite on point. They had 2 yellow cards. Probably wasn't their strongest point there. But a lot of yellow cards and red cards were handed out. But there was 47 penalties conceded in 4 matches, which is around 12 penalties a match, which is not good enough, especially against teams like Namibia and Uruguay, when you should be absolutely dominating with a team like this. Most tackles in this Rugby World Cup so far, with 553, so they were set on defence in those big matches against France and New Zealand, which kind of led them to having to really take points, and often they weren't able to do that. 464 carries, so enough carries to have a lot of opportunities, and 27 line breaks and 45 line at cell 1. So it wasn't too shabby. Wasn't an amazing World Cup for them, but pretty much they've got a lot to work on for next World Cup, and they just weren't able to stand out on the biggest stage, as a lot of teams struggle to do too. Well, the stars in the Italian side was obviously Kipiozo. We weren't surprised to see him scoring 2 tries, and 11 defenders beaten. He was absolutely brilliant. And I'm happy for him. He's such a good player when he wants to be, and I'm not surprised. He's one of the best in the business at the moment, and I can't wait to see more of him. He's only very young. And also there was Paulo Garbisi, who was very good too. He was one of the big players in this match. He's not. He's quite young, but he did lead the side decently well when I saw him playing. 309 metres carried and 32 tackles. He had a really good all-round game with 44 runs, and I think he was one of their standouts too. And then, of course, we have probably the best of them all. Over and Capiozo was Monty Ioane, and I'm happy to see him doing so well. He's such a good player. He just wasn't given enough credit before this World Cup, and he showed how good he is during this World Cup with 44 runs, 32 tackles, and 372 metres. 10 defenders beat him, and 48 runs, highest of ever run this World Cup so far, with 2 tries. And I pretty much think that those outside backs were their star performers of the World Cup. Hopefully next World Cup they can do better, but this World Cup it was not to be. But they'll be hoping they can do a lot better over the next few years, rebuild and be a lot stronger. They've got a young side that can really build from this. But thank you for watching. Please do whatever you want with this video. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. But thank you for watching. Come back another time. See you.